Hello, everybody, and welcome to another review on Robert's Movie Talk. On this review, we are talking about the new Christopher Nolan film, Interstellar. Caution, this has spoilers all over it. This is going to be a spoiler-heavy discussion about Interstellar. And with that out of the way, let's start. So, first off, Interstellar, mind blown, right?
Yes.
You're just so confused at the end of the movie. You're like, what? Huh? You know, you're at the end of the movie. You're confused, and I loved that feeling throughout the movie. They had a feeling where they threw a lot at you, hoping that you would catch it. And I know that there are some people out there who wouldn't catch that kind of stuff, and that's why they wouldn't like the movie. But I'm one of the person who did catch this stuff, and for catching this stuff, I loved this movie. Eric?
I loved it too. I thought it was good acting by the people I thought they played it perfectly.
Yeah, I think that the acting was definitely one of the best parts in the movie. Sometimes during the acting, you're just like, oh wow, I feel bad for you, Matthew McConaughey, having to leave Murph behind and end up having to watch her through an alternate galaxy and banging, you know, on the fifth dimension. No, please don't leave, you know. I thought that was just, at the, you know, when they got to the fifth dimension, I thought that was one of Matthew McConaughey's best scenes in the movie. He was just banging on the walls, trying to tell Murph, don't do this, please. There is more. Try to stop me. I don't want to go. I don't want to go through the wormhole and have to sacrifice people and watch, you know, my crew blow up. And I want to stay with you, please, Murph. And I just thought that was so good throughout the movie. Also, the script, like the storyline in this movie, I thought was very well told. They told the story very well. For, you know, certain other movies have not told stories that well. But this one was definitely a very, very well told story. I think that they definitely capitalized on the most important parts of the movie. And the good thing about this movie is that it's a very long movie and it feels about 4 hours. But at the same time, you're like, what could they cut out? That was at least my opinion. What did you think on that topic?
I think they made it enough so that you could understand it. Like, no person I don't know. No person, if you just walked in the middle of the movie, you wouldn't get it. You just wouldn't get it.
Why are they going on the planet?
Pretty much, if you miss one part of this movie, you're kind of lost. You're kind of stuck unless you can pause it, which.
Yeah. And I think that definitely it's, do you think that they used up every minute as they should have?
I feel maybe like a couple parts, like maybe instead of like the drama parts being like 20 minutes, maybe cut it down to like 15 at least. Just cut it down, shave it off by a couple minutes.
Yeah, I disagreed with you on that. And honestly, the CGI in this movie is just, wow, it's some of the best CGI. I wouldn't say it's as good as Gravity, but it's definitely climbing up there. One of the best things is that this movie feels very real. And there's this one scene where there's Saturn, and you see this little tiny white dot going across this giant globe thing that is Saturn, and it really puts you to scale. You're like, okay, this is a close-up on Saturn, and still the spaceship looks like the size of a grain of salt. They really make it feel real. They really make you believe that how big space really is, and going through the wormhole. And I think that it's very, very well done. I think that it's definitely the CGI. Again, going to the different planets. One thing that I was absolutely scared about through this movie is that, they're gonna go to one planet. And why I was scared about that is because throughout the advertisement, all I remember is the icy planet. I just remember seeing pictures of the icy planet. But luckily they go to, you know, Gargantua, and they go to the other planets where the capsules were. And what did you think about, and, you know, did you like the CGI?
Yes. I thought it was great. I thought it really brought it out. Most movies don't have that. don't bring it out that much.
Although I do wish that they would have showed maybe the spaceship going by. Honestly, this is a little bit nitpicking, but just like the spaceship going by Mars and maybe Jupiter, that would have been really cool. But then again, they sort of if they added that would have been a little bit longer. I just sort of wanted to see it by Jupiter, but that they showed us the scope of Saturn and then the other planets, I thought that was very, very well done. And you know, what did you think about the twist of Man? You know, the last guy's name is Man, being like villain, like trying to kill Matthew McConaughey.
I thought that was kind of crazy, because he was so happy to see both of those, to see a face for the first time.
Yeah.
And
then he's just like, you know what? Screw you. I want to go back because I'm important. So, yeah. Bye, guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought that was very crazy. And you know, what did you? I really liked to go into the different planets. Where the first planet where there was the giant wave, I thought that was really cool to see. And then they go out of it and they go to, they go to the other planet and the whole icy planet. You know what that sort of looked like to me? It sort of looked like some of the ice mountains in Skyrim.
Yeah.
It was such a cool shot. One of the coolest shots of the movie, which they showed in the trailer, was when the ice, because they like this, are starting to close in on each other. That was just one of the coolest shots. And then, the scene where Matthew McConaughey says, okay, Anne Hathaway's character is like, I gotta leave you, and sends her to the Gargantua. I thought that was a very well acted scene, as well as to see her at the end of the movie where she's, set up the base and stuff like that. I thought that was very, very cool. And now let's talk about the wormhole scene. Remember the wormhole scene? Yeah. Where at first it's sort of like, you're just thinking crazy, like, because when I first saw that, and he's just like floating through space, gradually running out, talking to himself, and then the white particles start going by, and he's going through the wormhole, and then suddenly he's stuck in the fifth dimension. By then, my mind was just fried. I'm like, whoa, what is going on? You just see, this giant place, and he's banging on the wall, Murph, please don't leave me, and he's trying to give her hints about to stay, and then it cuts to Murph. I thought the cutting to present time was very, very well done. Honestly, although I do wish that they would have cut to her as a kid at least once more, because really they didn't cut to her as a kid besides when Matthew McConaughey's character left, or I believe his name was Cooper, right?
Yeah.
When Cooper left. And I thought, although I wish that, but when they saw that she was like, wait, oh my gosh, she's trying to tell me this the entire time, I just thought that was very, very well executed. And that, the whole ghosting, and how it's sort of like Matthew McConaughey banging on the wall and stuff. That's years on planet Earth. While at the same time, it still cuts to her at the same age, so it didn't confuse them. It was like sort of her fading and coming back, and the whole dust storm thing. I just thought that scene, and then eventually when it started collapsing, and it was just the white. At first, I thought, wait, did he just kill himself? Because it's sort of the white stuff. Did you think that he was, like, killing himself?
I thought that he was dying.
Yeah, I did too, and that he changed the past, at least for Murph. And then it just cuts to him. And some of the scenes the one scene where Anne Hathaway's character was like, well, I'm going to touch it. I'm like, what are you doing? Shaking the hands with the alien? Although they made sense, like, everything in this movie that didn't make sense in the first time made sense in the second time.
Yeah.
Because they sort of revised everything, every logic problem. What did you think of the dimension scene?
I thought it was trippy.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Oh yeah.
When going into it, it just started spinning, and he was shaking, and you saw just a bunch of white bulbs like floating around you, you spinning. You're just like, ugh, and then it stops, and you're like, what just happened? Type thing.
Yeah, and when they first were going to it, at first I thought, because I've been looking up, are we the only universe online and stuff like that. And one of the theories is that there are infinite universes woven together like a cloth, and that they look like that, and he was going down into one of them. At first I actually thought that he was dying, and that the fifth dimension was like heaven, and he was looking back on his past, and eventually he was going to go to a better place. But it's so weird to think that was an actual human in that fifth dimension. A dimension where time transcends space altogether. A human was living there.
Yeah.
It's really weird to think about that. And then, of course, the ending scene where Matthew McConaughey is, Cooper is sitting, and then he looks outside, and they're playing, baseball, hits the ball, and it goes up into... And, the whole Saturn thing. Although, I thought that it was a little weird, because remember the first time that he went through the wormhole, like, even the ship was, like, shaking and stuff like that. How he didn't suffer any shaking damage or anything like that. Yeah, I thought that was... Also, about, the guy who, like, cracked his helmet, they never really... I don't think that they said that he fixed his helmet at all.
Yeah,
they just sort of left it out. There was a couple things like that. But then again, at the same time, it's sort of like he was falling into the fifth dimension, and maybe you don't need oxygen in the fifth dimension. And, of course, the whole thing where he sees Murph lying down in the bed, at that scene, I'm just like, whoa, that's Murph. Murph, 90-year-old. It's just, it's so weird to think you saw your child once, and they were 8. Like, to you, it felt like a day later, she's 90.
Yeah.
It's sort of... just mind-blowing, and how they showed her on the TV, how he rebuilt the legs. The legs were really weird creatures. I thought that they were really weird. And I love the scene where he's talking, and she says, "Go, I don't want you to see me die. No father should see their daughter die."
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was... I love the movie as a total. Is there any other comments you have?
I think a really good thing about this movie was the comedy. They made the comedy just right in it. They made it so that it's serious, but then it's serious, like kind of funny serious. Because remember that one time they spin around and they got out of it, and Matthew McConaughey just goes, "And now for my next trick, we're gonna," and I think it was good that they added that type of stuff in it.
Yeah, honestly, I disagree with you. I thought that they could have had a little bit more comedy, while at the same time, I think that with their small bits of comedy that sort of, like, mixed it up a little bit too much. It's more like, go for more jokes or go for no jokes. That's what I thought, because they had, like, 2 or 3 jokes, and you're like, is this jokey a little bit, or is this complete serious? Because you couldn't tell when there's more than, I'd say, 2 jokes in a movie that, like, you'll remember. And... yeah, that's what I really thought. And what I liked about this movie is that they had characters die. I thought maybe they wouldn't have characters die because Christopher Nolan, well, no, he's definitely made characters die, but, like, not really, really big characters. And I thought that was executed really well. Also, the theory to relativity, I thought, was portrayed very well in the movie, of how it's like, okay, the circle here will waste less time. And what did you think about the scene where it's like, 23 years have just passed. We just wasted 23 years on that planet.
I thought that was like really cool how they like thought of that immediately. Like,
yeah, it wasn't,
wow.
Like they were on it for half an hour, and that was 3.5 years back, or no, 23 years. Yeah. And
I liked how when they got back on the ship, after getting off the planet, to look at the video footage, I like how they went from the son to teenage, then college, then when he's 40. I liked how they did that. Yeah. I liked how they just went like wow, that fast.
Yeah.
I was like, they go up so fast.
Although the thing about this movie is that it may be a little bit too complicated for people. It may be a little bit like, oh, I don't understand this, this was not tied together loosely correctly. But I think that if you look deep enough into this movie, which you definitely do, you have to concentrate every second of this movie. If you look deep enough into it, you realize everything makes sense in the end. Yeah. Everything makes sense. He's okay. He's on an outpost at Saturn. Earth is just gone, and he's going back to go find Anne Hathaway's character on Gargantua. Although, the thing is that hopefully he finds her at the exact spot. Hopefully they have some sort of way to track her down to the exact spot, because all we know, he could land in the water again, and then a giant wave.
Yeah.
Yeah. But honestly, I think that this is one of the best movies of the year so far. Yeah. I will go as far to give it, I don't think it's as good as Big Hero 6, so I would say if you had to only see one movie this weekend, Big Hero 6 or Interstellar, I would go for Big Hero 6 a little bit more. But I give this movie an 8.5 out of 10. No, 8.75 out of 10. And Eric, what is your score?
I give it about an 8.5.
8.5? Alright, and I guess that is the end of our Interstellar review. If you have any comments or questions that I will answer on Robert's Movie Talk, just email me at pixar206@gmail.com. This is Eric Shutte and Robert Burke of Robert's Movie Talk. Out.